Alright, now our players can finally start out. We've got Carnage spawning over on the right side of the map in the yellow trunks as the Romans. Man, look at how pretty that water is. Man, this game just... it's so sexy for a cartoony looking game, man. Over on the left-hand side of the map today, we've got Eery in the red trunks as the Babylonians. And so we've got past champions facing off here today. And they probably have no fucking idea how to play this map, let's be honest. Because it's one of the new ones that came out at the start of the year. Thank you for the follow. And so we've got new maps, we've got old champions. Be an interesting one, I think. So hopefully Carnage doesn't end up having his scout waste so much time running all this way over to Eery and not really scouting out the map, because Eery is going to get a good scout out of some resources. This is nice for sort of forward building towards your opponent, particularly if you're Norse or Romans or Babylonians. It's really nice to put your second town center somewhere about here, or you know, about here, maybe over about here even, just so you can really take some nice fights. And you've got a fallback point that's not all the way back here. You won't just get mauled to death if you're retreating with the slower composition. And you know, it also means you can sort of kite your opponent through static defense in the mid-map. So Eery, in typical Eery fashion, has gone for an early barracks. Carnage seems to be going for eco first. He hasn't gone for hunting dogs at all. He's banking up a lot of wood at the moment, so he might even be trying to go for a... oh, well, the engineer just got caught here. Might have actually been trying to go for a proxy of some sort, or forward Castellum there. So Carnage being forced onto the berries already. But look at it, he's going to get Picker's gloves. So he's actually using the engineer to try and fight at the moment. These guys have actually got reasonable damage. So if, you know, if ignored, which I doubt Eery's going to do, considering the caliber of players we've got facing each other off, engineers have 8 damage per second, so it's nearly as much as the spearmen. Bit risky by Carnage to leave the engineer on the outside here. You'd think he'd probably want to tuck him in on the far side now, because Eery's going to be able to try and go for him here potentially. At the same time, Carnage could be using it sort of as a bait, because if Eery sort of tries to dive him and Carnage pulls the engineer out, gets a villager on the Castellum, you know, you can always end up behind enemy lines under the town centre. So Carnage aging up already. Eery is starting to age up as well, but it's a little bit slower than Carnage's. He's going to start gathering stone, while Carnage is just gold gathering because he wants to get early conditioning and legionaries. Nice little block off there with the house and the Castellum as well. Really good placement there from Carnage. Keeps all of his wood gatherers nice and safe. There's no way for Eery to touch them without eating a shitload of town centre fire. Sorry to sort of not be very observant with the chat, guys, as well. And behind all this, Eery, age up. It's just starting to finish off. He's finished off that first hunt. He's denied Carnage his first hunt, so Carnage is going to be working through the berries, probably looking to get back on the hunt at some point if he can. Eery has not taken hunting dogs at this stage. I was actually a bit surprised he's... oh, I suppose he's run out of gold and he probably wants to try and get gardens and lances as well. I was going to say, it's surprising he hasn't looked to go for it at this point. But I suppose with the eco slowdown, it's actually probably not too bad of an idea to delay it, just to make sure you've got that good spear count, because Eery's able to at least keep the pressure on at 5 spears to the Well, when it was only one Legionary, he could definitely take that fight. Now that it's at 2 Legionaries, he's going to try and back off home. At the same time, because of the way this cliff sits, Carnage has to be very careful with the Decurion. Ooh, Eery's going to get a nice surround here. Carnage is going to have to be careful to not eat too much damage there. So the Legionaries will clean up the Spearmen, but the Spearmen will clean up the Decurion. It's a bit of an anxious chase there by our players, but well, Carnage's Decurion will regen. The Spears will all be able to regen too. But Eery does need to invest in pharmacology to get that healing at first. So for now, he's going to add more. Well, he was going to add some more spears. He's going to cancel them and add Lancers now. Because Carnage adding Decurions, adding a second Castellum. Eery's gathering stone, but with a single villager and distance gathering. Here we go. He's going up to another. There we go. He's going to get more stone gatherers, so he's probably going to commit to second town center. I did see him gathering stone a lot earlier there, but he must have only been doing it with the one villager. Maybe thinking about possibly going for a tower on Carnage early on and just trying to secure the game. Or try and put down a defensive tower near some of his food, some of these hunts. He does still have one safely behind his base at the moment that would be difficult for Carnage to raid. Even though our players have got a close spawn, you've got this massive walk time, so actually trying to get to a hunt there, that's honestly probably the safest spot to have it. Because like, the Decurions are going to be ages to get there. Same time, Decurions probably when it's a fight against the 2 Lancers. So Eery backing off briefly. Same time, there's all those spears there. So Carnage can't really commit to anything either. Eery's going to clay wall the top there. I like this because it does prevent Carnage from doing anything too crazy. I mean, even if Carnage tries towering up here, I don't think it's really going to be able to reach the berries other than maybe that one on the corner. So Carnage keeping Eery busy. At the same time, keeping an idea of what Eery's got in his comp. He's seeing Eery add more Lancers, so he's going to add more spears of his own. Eery's adding more spears because, you know, all he's really seen from Carnage is the Decurions, so he can assume he's possibly adding some more, as well as the infantry that he's already got. Eery taking an engagement there, but wasn't focusing down the low Decurion, so he's actually got to back off before any of the Lancers fall. And he hasn't really got the food to get pharmacology yet, so really it's the Roman player that's got the healing advantage here, which is, you know, the longer this match goes on, the more unusual that becomes, because the less, you know, pharmacology becomes cascaded, and the less the Roman player can just rely on Decurion harass to win the game. But for now, regen value is going Carnage's way, but at the same time, Eery's denied Carnage's hunt gathering for that long. He's just about finished up this first berries, while Eery's only just now been forced onto his berries eco. Neither player's taken hunting dogs. Ooh, and now Carnage is looking for an opportunity, but that house is really well placed. And now the spears not going to be able to catch the Decurions, but they're going to be able to do enough. But Eery's safe and sound at home. Eery seeing Carnage stream more units in. He's going to slip his scout into Carnage's base, see what production facilities he's got in here. Carnage hasn't yet added a forum or an armory, so he's not really looking to get eco or military techs too quickly here. He's just spitting out the units at the moment. So Eery is at 38 and 75 total population. Carnage is at 36 eco and 89 total pop. So Carnage's army size has honestly boomed up a lot bigger than Eery's here, because Eery's been, I think, looking to try and take a second town center, while Carnage might just be trying to seal the deal with one TC. You know, and Eery even committing to 2 gardens here as well. He's definitely playing the greedier opening, because that's 800 resources plus however much he's put into the gardens there. So that's another, you know, nearly 300 resources between the first two gardens as well. Ooh, and this is looking really rough for Carnage. Really rough for Eery, because Carnage, plenty of infantry left. He still has one of those Decurions as well, and these guys, you know, take down villages in only a couple of hits. Not quite as strong as a Knight from AoE 4, but pretty much the best, you know, the game's equivalent, the next best thing, really. Eery forced to have to get defensive towers, and this really hurts him because he still needs another 40 stone and 120 wood to actually get the second town center he's been working towards this whole time. Still having to try and cram out the units to defend here as well. Has some more lancers in the mix, and there's not a huge amount of legionaries for Carnage, and sitting under the defensive fire, it's going to get more and more difficult. He can't raid the wood line or this food, but Eery is struggling for gold a little bit here as well. Well, Carnage's production is maxed out. He's just parade pushing everything across the map for the moment. So Eery, it's tough for him to hold on here. And yeah, he's completely run out of gold for the moment. He desperately needs to get some of these villagers back on the gold mine. Or even get some over on this far gold mine if he can do so safely. Ooh, Garden being taken down. These are big economic blows for Eery. Carnage is inflicting right now, and ooh, even under the double town center, Eery's really banked up a lot of food. Still doesn't. He's getting a market now, and yeah, he desperately needs the stone and the wood and gold. Like, he's got plenty of food in the bank, but he just really needs to split these workers up as best he can. You know, he's going to lose stuff regardless here, because right now all he's really doing is just buying himself. Well, buying Carnage time to get more stuff out, because Carnage is struggling for food. He's overbanked the wood at the moment, but Eery right now, a lot of his eco, 20 vills right now just dancing. Eery has to tap out in game number 1. So the old man taking the first game in the series, landing the first shot, inflicting the first blow. So plays wonderful macro, but eventually Carnage with that military advantage